Okay, I'm almost done with my cocoa wheats. Stand by. Now we can start. Hello. Welcome into the Eric Zane Show podcast, the daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures each and every day of the work week. So I go in to make breakfast this morning, and then I hear an explosion on the floor. And I think it's a vase or something like that that's in a billion pieces. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Kind of slowed your old pal Easy down a bit. So that kind of messed things up. I think I would have been late anyway because at like 10 minutes before, it's not a good idea to then be making the cocoa wheats. Kenny with a fantastic question. What's cocoa wheats? I think it can best be described as farina. Okay? I think that's an old school version of hot cereal. Hey, did you eat your farina? Your wheat farina. Also there, can be included in that is cream of wheat. That was one of the products that had like a black guy on the front of it, like a happy chef. He's like he's like, I'm going to deliver this food to the master, and it's going to be so much fun. I love being an indentured servant. Here you go, boss. Which is bullshit. For the longest time, a lot of the foods that we would eat would have a real happy slave on the label. What a crock of shit. You remember like Aunt Jemima? The syrup? With happy black slave? Fucking flying here. Jesus, fuck away from me. Or Uncle Ben's, the rice guys. Here's the rice, master. Hope you like it. I'm so happy to be serving you the rice. It's ridiculous. And then even on the Aunt Jemima one, I think it, hang on. Fucking fly. On the Aunt Jemima one, I think the family of Aunt Jemima said, no. Don't ban Aunt Jemima. We love it. So that really put a fly in the ointment on that deal. I don't know. I think it's stupid. Come on now. But that's kind of like a regular start to the day here. Nate says all slaves talk like Lomas Brown. You go with the farina with milk, and then someone asked, you put sugar in it? Oh, hell yes, you have to. And then I put like protein powder in it too, because my doctor said, easy, you gotta go protein with your carbohydrate. Otherwise, you're just gonna spike your sugar and you're not gonna be a happy camper. I go, okay, great. So that's what's up. That's how I start the day. And the way this has worked and the way it will continue to work, I know there was some folks who were like, easy, you got to give us more descriptions of the things you're eating during the day. Well, maybe. But don't forget, I do that on the show here. As Eric continues to plummet his weight downward in a historically healthy way, I have now plotted it out. I'm breaking my own rule and looking in the future. And that is 28 pounds should be behind me by December. Aram is getting a little too hyper-focused on the ultra specifics of what each and every one of us do, particularly me. For some reason, when I pick on people, Aram then thinks that he should, like, fight back. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure why that's happening, but I've been very successful and very strict with myself since this all began. And I'm doing very, very well for myself. And for some reason, I think you're trying to punch holes in what I'm doing, and I'm not exactly sure why. I suspected it in your tone of your posts on fraudulent fat fugs, which, by the way, you don't even need to be there. You're in fantastic shape. I'm not even sure why you're contributing. If you had a place to be there, it might be to help people like Amanda, who can't seem to do anything but give us excuses on a consistent level. So I'm not sure what you're getting at with your tone and aggressiveness. Fact of the matter is, Amanda's in a life and death struggle. Poor thing. And she asked me specifically to handle her the way that I have. So I'm not sure what's going on there. I mean, if you're going to turn in fraudulent fat fugs into like a way to make this adversarial, I'm not biting. I'm not biting on that. I'm not sure. I don't want anybody's support. He says, I'll be more supportive of you. That's not why I'm there. I'm there for people who actually are fighting a life and death battle, who their lives depend on them losing a lot of weight over a long period of time. And everyone has been doing a fantastic job. You might say, how can you possibly say that, Easy? You've been ripping Amanda. Well, she's there. At least she's there. If she did not respond to my attacks on her, she's trying. Just she needs to try harder. Okay? You know what I'm talking about. Very, very important that you do this. I read a post from Kenny. God bless him. His back is feeling so much better. He can move around. Kenny, the most impressive thing about you, young man, is the fact that you are considerably less disgusting while recovering from a major, major injury to your back. You should be 100 pounds heavier if old Kenny was doing what he's been doing. Amanda says she's down 6. That's great and a miracle. Things that are less impressive than Amanda losing 6. Sully Sullenberg landing on the Hudson. The Cubs winning the World Series. And anything else that you can think of that's miracle related. Reason why I say that is because as I suspected, Amanda was being fraudulent when I was like, hey, where are you? Every time you check in, it's full of sass and attitude. You should be dropping hints. See, when you contribute to fraudulent fat fugs, you're helping the other people who are also trying to lose weight. Okay? So we hear nothing from her. Nothing. So I'm like, Amanda. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. Jesus Christ. I don't know how to wait. Check in every fucking day. Fuck this. Well, you know what I did? And then she's giving me all sorts of bullshit attitude. I'm like, what the fuck? God damn. Yeah, I'm doing what you asked. You asked me to do this. You can't ask somebody for this type of assist and then when it happens, get mad. Good God. That's horrible. Stand by. I got to drink this coffee. Make no mistake, though. As I've said to you, Sunday evening meal is reward. And motherfucker, I earned that shit last night. So I hunkered down. Taco bar with dessert. So I don't even try to do anything that is like a normal person's eating on the Sunday evening family dinner. I behaved all fucking week. All week. Walked my ass off. Walked my ass off last night, too, by the way. I had already met my fitness goal for the day yesterday, and I went around the block again. I got people in the neighborhood noticing. How many times you going to go around? I'm like, yeah, fuck yes. Fuck yes. On Saturday, I was 181. And I did check my chart. It was 186.4 at the doctor's office. All right. Perfect. Tomorrow is 21 days in. 21 days in. Last night, the taco bar was just intensely awesome. I mean, I'm serious. I ate a burrito that was the size of a football. And then I had I made my own crunch wrap. You take the flour tortilla, the soft, and you put the refried beans and sour cream on it and like spread it. And then you put the hard shell in there and then load up the hard shell and then put the soft shell around it. And like, oh my God, fantastic. Murdered that. And then I had a brownie about the size of this folder. And we were in business. So great. And kids were screaming like madmen. My grandkids are over. And it goes like, at my house, it goes from quiet to loud in an instant. And I tell you what, I am all about it. When there's chaos in my house, dogs going bananas, kids screaming, I'm like music to my ears. I miss those days. Now, my son and my daughter-in-law, I think they're all waiting for like somebody to go, oh, yeah, like give them a dirty look because the kids are going bonkers. But I'm like, no, it doesn't bother me at all because I know at the end of the day, I will be here with the NFK and Diana. You guys do have to go home, so I can muscle my way through this. It was fantastic. All about it. Even got a chance to bust out the baseball gloves. In the street, playing catch, playing basketball. Oh, it was a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I tell you what. So back at it, back on the horse today. And things are going fine. Hope things are going well with you. I just got a request from audience member Matt. He wants in, so he'll be sending along a, hey, let me in. I want in on this group. I want in. Friday, I was out in Detroit at the Magic Bag for Who Are These Podcasts Live. And man, what a fun time. Okay? I can't stress this enough. If you want to know how this works, the history of this is like 7 years ago. Some dude sat down and he said, I am going to review podcasts, and that's all I'm doing in a podcast form. My own podcast. And, well, he had no one, no audience, none. It's different when you do it the way Carl did it because I mean, I had a built-in audience from radio. Carl does it with nothing. And now he's got 2,500 followers on Patreon. He just bought a second house in Florida. His show is incredibly popular. He has several spin-off shows, including Who Are These Broadcasters, featuring your old pal EZ, Carl, and Christian Blatt, heard once a week, every Tuesday. And does live shows all across the country. So he does this live show in Detroit, second year in a row that he's done it, same place. I was fortunate enough to be invited to help roast the show, The Osbournes, which we talked about that on Patreon, a little preview about what they do on that stupid show. But so I found out when I got there. Yeah, actually, let me back up. Let me back up. No, I'm not going to back up. I'm going to tell you this story. I'm in the lobby, and I'm kind of not really used to the fact that people that are there for this show, they actually recognize me. I haven't been recognized publicly in a long, long time. It kind of dried up with the old radio career, but not here. And it was such a thrill. And those people were so kind to say, "Oh my God, I love you on the show," and things like that. When you're a person like me who is driven by ego and things like this, admittedly, it really was a fantastic feeling. So people were just awesome. I got to meet a lot of great, great people. Too many stories to mention, but one in particular. This guy comes up to me, and he's kind of giddy. And he goes, "Oh, my God, Eric Zane." I go, "Hey, how you doing?" He goes, "I listened to you, and I'm thinking to myself, maybe he recognizes me from Grand Rapids or I don't know." And he goes, "I listened to you on the Insane Asylum radio show in northern Michigan." Now, I've been doing the show for like 4 years. And I have never had anyone ever approach me and say that they've listened to the Insane Asylum. Not a one. Okay? The show is on midnight to 2 a.m. on a rock radio station way up north. There's nobody lives up there. It's a miracle that anybody even listens to me. And I go, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, I listened to that show." I go, "You are the first person that his name was Ryan. First person that has ever said anything to me about that show, ever." People that listen to the podcast, because I make the show available here on Patreon, I go, "Well, they hear it. Not a ton, but some." "You got to be fucking kidding me." He goes, "Yep." I go, "Oh, Jesus." I go, "So you live way up there?" He goes, "Yep." So Carl draws all these people from faraway places to meet in Detroit, and it was spectacular. Cardiff Electric was there, and El Horrible with his stupid puppets, and oh my God, Dr. Steve. I was on stage with Dr. Steve, but one of the things that stood out to me, I have to give you a little background here. I want to share this with you. Way back, I think like 12 years ago, so some of you may not remember this. This viral news story happened.
There are often homeless people asking for change at freeway exit ramps, but recently there's been this guy with an interesting sign at I-71 and Hudson Street.
Ohio.
His handwritten sign says he has the God-given gift of a great voice.
Hey, I'm going to make you work for your dollar. Say something with that great radio voice.
When you're listening to nothing but the best of oldies, you're listening to Magic 98.9. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you. And we'll be back with more right after these words. And don't forget, tomorrow morning is your chance to win a pair of tickets to see this man live in concert. Thank you so much. Well, when I was 14 years old, I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. When I was 14, I kind of listened to one of our area radio announcers. And I went as a field trip to go meet the guy, and he looked nothing like what he sounded like. So I asked him about that, and he said to me, "Listen, radio is defined theater of mind." And so when he said theater of mind, I just said, "Well, hey, I can't be an actor, I can't be an on-air personality, but the voice just became something of a development over years, and I went to school for it. And then alcohol and drugs and a few other things became a part of my life. And I got 2 years clean, and I'm trying hard to get it back. And hopefully somebody from one of these television or radio says, hey, I need a voiceover, or I need something. So, you know, I'm hoping one day, watch Family Guy, weeknights at 7:30 on Fox 28. Anything, but that's what it is. And I love radio.
If you're
That's Ted Williams, the man with the golden voice. That story went viral, and he had no idea. Well, let me. I'm jumping around. I apologize, but this is me with Ted yesterday or on Friday, and I couldn't believe it. Ted freaking Williams is sitting next to me. His story is one to behold, I tell you what. And he was brought in. Carl and Drew hired Ted to be the guy, to be the dude who introduces whenever someone new comes on stage. And so he's clean and sober now, thank God. But I got a chance to talk with Ted for quite a bit. He's doing a podcast, actually. More on that later on. But yeah, it was pretty great to sit down with him. And Ryan says that's awesome. He was like early YouTube viral. So his story went crazy. All right. And he got a job right away, and he got like a big contract. And then I think he started doing drugs again. I think he got all fucked up again because he wasn't quite healthy, you know? And then he eventually has turned it around and is doing very well. It was nice to meet him. He had a friend / assistant who was with him named Scott Anthony, who's a comic as well. And we're talking about his podcast. And someone says, hey, and pointed this guy, Scott, who runs his show, to me. He goes, Scott, are you making any money with Ted? No. See him. So they come up to me. He comes up to me. I go, yeah, so what's going on? He goes, yeah, well, we don't know how to make any money. I go, well, what are you doing? He goes, well, we're on YouTube every day. I go, well, is anybody watching? He says, yeah. Now I'm thinking like a few hundred. I look, and it's like 85,000 people that watched his video, one of his videos. I'm like, well, yeah, you should be what the fuck? Did you sign up? Did you, because it isn't like you just make a video and suddenly money flies in from heaven. There's some things you have to do. There is? Yeah. You got to build a Google AdSense account. You have to give your tax information. You have to put in a bank account. And then, yeah, that's about it. It's just the money just flies in. But have you done all those things? No, we didn't know we had to. God, Jesus Christ. I got one here. Reach out to me. We'll get the ball rolling here. There's plenty of ways for Ted should be making fucking money doing this shit. The fuck you guys are doing. Cole says it sounds like his podcast would be perfect for WATP. They may have reviewed it. I'm not sure. I know Drew did. Drew and Mike did. But by the way, things went fairly well with Uncle Drew. For those of you who don't know, Uncle Drew is our pal St. Gaslight's uncle. Yes. That Joe. St. Gaslight's uncle is Uncle Drew of the Drew and Mike Show. I walk up to Carl and I go, hey, dude, this is before Drew gets there. I go, this might get weird. And I started to give him the background, and he goes, Drew told me. I go, oh. How did that go? He goes, you're fine with Drew, but Drew's sister might want to have a word with you. I'm like, is she here? No. And that would be Joe's mother. So I'm like, God knows what he's told these people. Now, he knows his side of the story. I know his side of the story, and I also know the other side of the story. You know, from the half dozen women who've reached out to me. So I would guess that what he's telling his loved ones is much different than the accounts of the half dozen or so women. But anyway, I didn't really speak any more about it with Carl. Wasn't the time or the place, and he didn't ask. So I was like, well, we'll see what's up. And Drew comes walking up to me. He goes, hey, Eric. I go, hey, Drew. And I said, you going to punch me? And I was serious. Are you implying, are you pissed off? And he goes, ha ha, no. So I was like, good. Yeah, I would hate for him to be pissed off at me. If he did want to discuss it, I would have then gone into greater detail. But it would have taken too long, and it just wouldn't have been appropriate. We were all there to have fun, for God's sake. But it was referenced. And that's where it was. It continues on as an acquaintance relationship, as it should. He's got a good group of people over there. He did a great job, and I enjoyed spending time with him. Yeah, I think that was it. That's about all I have to report about the big Who Are These Podcasts event. You must go. You must attend this next time. I had a great time with that group. If you're in the area, you must make the trip over if they do the show again at the Magic Bag. Really, really fun. Fantastic. All right. As we welcome you in to a fantastic edition, a Monday version of the Eric Zane Show podcast. So glad that you are here. Nikki says the whole show was great. I enjoyed listening to it this weekend. It's something you have to watch, though, because especially the clips that I threw together, there was a visual side to them. And I think you can only get that when you are subscribed to his Patreon. Yes. All right. Now, moving on. The freaking Lions. Son of a bitch. We had a real vibe of same old Lions in this game. I'm not understanding head coach Dan Campbell when he suggests that the defense played great. They did not. I love Dan Campbell, but you can't start your presser by saying the defense played great. They didn't play great at all. The game was awesome. It was back and forth, and the fact that the Lions were down 10 points with like 5.5 minutes to go, and they scored 10 straight to end the game to tie it. And then who knew that the game would be decided on the fucking coin toss? Because Seattle won the toss, they get the ball. I've still never understood this rule about if the offense scores the touchdown, the game is over. I always thought that was bullshit. The other team should get a chance to score. But that was it, you know. Defense stunk. Offense is pretty damn good. Nate says if Geno Smith goes for 325 yards, your defense sucks. Well, yeah, but Geno Smith had a spectacular year last year. And so he is become a bona fide player now. He's not a pilot. He's not like some lucky one and done. He's done very well for himself. I think he might have won Comeback Player of the Year or something like that last year. A brutal game, too. A lot of people got hurt in that one. But the thing a lot of people may be talking about is when Geno Smith got called for intentional grounding, and the referee was doing the, what do you call it? The announcement of the penalty. And while he's doing the announcement of the penalty, Geno Smith starts talking to the ref. He starts pleading his case to the guy. The ref drops this.
Intentional grounding, offense number 7. It's a 10-yard penalty. I'm talking to America here, excuse me. It's a 10-yard.
I'm talking to America here, excuse me.
It's a 10-yard penalty. I'm talking to America here, excuse me. It's a 10-yard penalty and a loss of down. Second down.
That is the best line I've ever heard out of an official. We'll get to the penalty in a minute. He just told Geno Smith, I'm talking to America.
Intentional grounding.
Oh, God. But, man, I was bummed. Motherfucker. It sucks that they lost. The problem is people who haven't drank the Kool-Aid are quick to take people like me and rub my face in dog shit. And that hurts. That really hurts. It all comes crashing down. This deflating feeling. After going to Kansas City and winning that game. Just fuck it all up at home, you assholes. Stevie says, typical Lions, everyone got all hyped up over nothing, including myself. No shit. At the end of the day, they're 1-1. They should be 2-0. Everybody should be losing their shit right now. At this point, anything less than at least one playoff win is a massive letdown. Massive letdown. I hate this so much when that happens. And I've gotten to a point now where I absolutely don't even do anything. I don't sit down to watch it. I'm literally walking around the house with my phone. I'm taking the dogs for a walk with my phone. I never just sit down and watch because I'm not to a point where I can sacrifice hours to just watch it like that. Patrick says the Lions got to be fine. Tyler says it's just one game. They should have won that, but they still played well enough to get it to overtime at least. I don't know, man. With the Lions, it's like when they win that first game, it's like one extreme of emotion, and then typical Lions fan, they lose. It's the other extreme. You could have a college course on the neurotic nature of a Detroit Lions fan. You can analyze a group of 10, 20 Lions fans, and you can do a whole case study on them. Call of Duty. Last week's Super Bowl, this week's snowplow. I don't know what snowplow means. It's fucking horrible. So pissed. At the Lions game, though, some guy was doing some sexting with his significant other. And someone else behind him has picked up on it and zoomed in. If you're in a stadium, you want to be very, very careful about your texts because anybody behind you could be checking that deal out. This guy, according to Barstool, the story, the Lions may have lost today, but this guy is about to have a night. I bet you want to see this, don't you? Let's see. Give me a few. I'm going home after this, she says. Guy says, okay. Girl says, then I'm fingering myself for a while. You've got my pussy throbbing. guy says if you can't squirt, then just video yourself. All right, I just realized I got to kick the group on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube off because I'm probably going to get some kind of fucking fine here. This is horrible. That's some serious trash talk. All right, for you folks on Facebook, Twitter, or X, and YouTube, thank you very much for being here. The rest of the show is available. Twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live, or download the Twitch app and search Eric Zane Live if you want the rest of that shit. I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/Eric Zane. Try it out for free for 7 days. Patreon.com/Eric Zane. 7 days free. You're going to love it. You're going to love this. I put a ton of time into it. We've got the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. We're going to do a Who Are These episode this week. Not to mention the Insane Asylum, the daily Patreon bonus. Hours of material for you to sift through. Try it out for free for 7 days. Patreon.com/Eric Zane. What I'm doing right now, the audio will be available for you wherever you download shows. The Eric Zane Show podcast is free wherever you download shows.